In this video, let's talk about the post Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge tier list, just because of how groundbreaking some of these support cards are, and then cards that boost the Red Resonator deck, Yubel of course, Ice Barrier, Inferno, Ritual Beast, and Gen X, which are the big deals in this set, but some really key and surprise reprints. Branded has been reprinted as well. So I'm going to throw all of them in a tier list and find out what deck you'd like to play, what thing might be a good power level for you, if you want to play a casual deck, a high rogue deck, or a top tier deck. It's all going to be in this tier list. We'll also give an analysis on what I think about each of the new categories of cards in this set. So that being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the video. So White Synchro Reef is actually a big deal. This does want to support the White Synchro Fish Tuna cards, but this can also, help search Abyss Shark, which is a very powerful card. Also getting the Utopia Dark Ray Lancer monster, kind of more reason to try out the fish cards. They've been doing well in Nationals, and then you've got these new support cards coming out in the next booster pack after Infinite Forbidden. So a lot of things pointing to maybe picking up the fish cards. You can also play them in Ice Barrier, and I did cover that in my deck profile, so stick around for that. But I've got an existing one on how to play Ice Barriers. We cover the White Aura monsters. I may even run this card in the Ice Barrier deck if it's a good searcher card. And it's pretty good. You can also cheat out the tunas if you control a White Synchro monster. And so for that reason, definitely something to think about. But I'm just not seeing the Synchro version of the deck do well. The rank 4 Fish Kraken version definitely is really strong with the full armored Lancer card. So with those in mind, I'm putting this in high potential, although they do have a very unique answer to Princess turning everything into Water with Kraken. Next up is the Red Resonator support card. So this card is actually insane, guys. This lets you go second, can special if your opponent has a monster in the field, and then when it goes to grave can send a normal trap to graveyard. So this can send big welcome. This is a Fiend Fire monster, but more importantly, sending those Red Ray normal trap card or Time to Stand Up trap card, which is absolutely busted, and those grave effects are really strong, and Red Resonator players will definitely play this card. It has potential. The Resonator deck has kind of formed into a Resonator package, which you play with Horus, with Bestials, so that's why I'm going to leave it in potential, but it did pop up quite a bit before. Let's see if it happens again. Definitely something to pick up, though. Of course, the structure deck gives you everything you need. All you got to do is throw in a few more cards and you have a very powerful, cool synchro deck. Of course, shout out to Jack Atlas for the coolest synchros in the game. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the Sky Strikers in Strong Rogue. I think, we've engaged at 3, for example, with Upstart at 3, although I don't know if they still play that. And we just saw, the Italian Nationals players opting not to run 18 hand traps, instead board breakers, which, are running Sky Strikers. So if you think about it, with Antipode going to 1 as well, Diabell's not actually being that popular, I feel like we could see some Sky Striker popularity, and it's going to stay in that rogue spot. It might be a weak rogue deck, but I'm going to say it's a strong rogue deck. This new card, Ciano, is crazy. It's a main deck Sky Striker, can special summon another Rose body from deck, and then you can link summon, then you special summon Rose back from the graveyard, and they have the new Link monster, which can steal something as an equipped spell. Kind of reminds you of the Mech Lord Weasel card. I think we are missing one more Sky Striker Link too, though. Keep that in mind. We got the upgraded Azalea, but I believe we're missing Cerulean. I think Inferno goes in Strong Rogue. I would love to say meta, but we need to see what happens. They are Fiends, they're Fires. We're getting Fiend support with Fiend Smith. We've got the Fire support right now with Princess and Snake Eye. So maybe, Inferno becomes a top tier meta deck. With everything reprinted, I can definitely see this taking over locals. They have Decatron, the level 1 Fire monster, which is not once per turn, and the new Link monster, the new Fusion monster. This deck has so much going for it. So yeah, it's definitely a strong rogue for me. Phantom of Yubel, top tier meta. Now, I did make a prediction in my previous video, and I guess I was right, because I said this would be in there, and here we go, it's in there. Super happy about this, and I'm so happy that Yubel players can finally, seriously test with this deck now for Euros. I feel like a lot of Yubel players were in limbo. It exists as a quarter century rare as well, which is insane. All we need now is Fiend Smith for full power. I think Gen X is casual, guys. This Link monster is incredible. Without it, I don't think the deck does anything. Considering how crucial it is and how much of a power spike this one card has, if it's Veiled or Impermed or Mourned, you just pass. It's kind of what the deck does. And because you have to rely on this Link monster so much, I can definitely see ways to play around it with Service, Call by the Grave, Cross Out, but I still think it's not enough. And I think this is just a very cool casual deck, but I'd love to be proven wrong. If you think Gen X has a place in the meta, let me know in the comments down below why you think that is. Next up is the new Synchron Crimson Dragon card. So this can, on your opponent's turn, cheat out a Dragon Synchro, and then Synchro Summon, this being level 4, bring back a level A Synchro. There's your Crimson Dragon, but as people have said, you can summon Crimson Dragon on your turn, search Synchro Rumble. So you've kind of already done the whole reason of using it. Going back to the extra deck, for example, what is your second target? However, if you place it in a Synchron deck, that's where I want to see this card shine. and it's a, you know, searchable card. It's a light monster, it's level 4, it's a tuner. I think this has potential. I definitely think the Adventure Synchro deck is going to enjoy this card, especially with much less decks running Droll and Nibiru. A deck like Adventure Synchro is going to enjoy that max ceiling, which they can build very easily. If you didn't know, we've got a new Shiny Sarcophagus card, which is the Archfiend Advent. This is basically a mind control. This can get a cheated normal summon out if Shiny Sarcophagus is on the field, and then that means the monster you steal, you can also use this effect. Pretty powerful card. Of course, shout out to Summer Skull. If you're a fan of Summer Skull, you're going to love this card. You also going to probably love the Shiny Sarcophagus archetype as well. We did see some good results from the Shiny Sarcophagus deck in early national season. Right now, nothing is happening. So, you know, maybe it just has potential. I want to see what happens in the next wave of Shiny Sarcophagus cards. I've added in some non-Terminal Revenge cards just to give a scope of where everything else lies. Lordis is obviously very popular for good reason, so I'm going to put this in top tier. I could easily see this just remaining as a strong rogue deck. Next up is Ritual Beast. So, you know, everyone always says Ritual Beast does a whole lot of stuff and doesn't achieve much. You have a Link monster, which is a Link 4. It's hard to climb into. It can be cheated out with a certain spell card. But I still think this one level 1 card does change the deck. It's exactly what the deck needed with some consistency boost. You know, it's going to be hard to learn. And so that's why I think it has potential. I almost want to say it's a casual idea, and I want to be proven wrong. I'm putting it in casual. But the fact it techs out so many good Ritual Beasts from the deck, I want to put it in potential. But again, this is just one card, and I think the deck just has so many stepping stones. Very much a lot of choke points as well, which, you know, means it's very susceptible to hand traps. Next up is Ice Barrier. So this could be biased. I'm putting this in strong rogue because there's a 1 card, beat Nibiru in the 5th summon, draw 4. You can summon the new Lancia monster, which cheats out Trishula when it gets Nibiru'd or when it leaves the field. Built-in anti-spell floodgates, monster negation floodgates, and then you have the very strong toolbox for water monsters, including Toad. And the new level 2 tuner is just insane. It reminds you of Mathmix Circular. Very powerful cards that completely changed the way an archetype is played. Some of you may have stayed around after watching my Ice Barrier video. Do you think Ice Barrier and Inferno are the 2 best new Duel Terminal decks? Next up is Tempai. Again, you know, top tier meta deck. We all know what it's capable of now. No more surprises. And it just does the job really well, really efficiently. In Infinite Forbidden, it goes a whole step further, and that's what I'm excited to see. So Toy Soldier obviously is not an archetype. I included it in here because of Manadium, how this deck can help summon level 4 light monsters like Realm Heart, like Samsara. But as its own thing, I think it's, you know, not going to be useful until Whitewoods. And once Whitewoods comes out, it's actually built into the pure Whitewoods deck. So for now, it might be something to pick up if you want to play Whitewoods. Obviously, Snake Eye, we're throwing that to the top. I don't think I need to go into this one too much. You know, clearly these are the meta decks. What all of these decks have to face off against if they have an answer for each of them. For example, the Red Rain Trap card, the Time to Stand Up Trap card. These cards can help you take out and banish the board so Snake Eye can't build anything and keep your big boss monsters unaffected. Ancient Gear Dragon gives Ancient Gears a spell negation, but this also gives a spell negation to Earth Machine. An Earth Machine that has been doing some pretty decent work over the years, but it's a very, very, very underrated deck. It's not very popular as well, but there are some people who end up getting top 16s, top 64s, and you do hear about it. So I think this card is wicked. As an Ancient Gear card, obviously it's casual. As an Earth Machine card, this has potential. Labyrinth, another top tier meta deck. Starting to see again the trend here. All these decks need to find a way to compete with the meta cards. Has Ice Barrier got what they need to floodgate? Has Sky Striker got what they need to persevere through hand traps? I think they do with the new Cyano card. Infernoid has so much gas going for it with the potential Yubel package because they're fiends. Unchained package. Next up is Diviner, which actually got reprinted, which got announced as an ultimate rare. Low got announced as an ultimate rare in OTS 26. So I kind of want to put the Voiceless Voice deck in this area as well. Is Voiceless Voice rogue? That is the real question. Very strong deck. You're not seeing a lot though nowadays. I think a lot of those players have moved to other archetypes. I personally tried Voiceless Voice. I thought it was too linear. Tempted to pick them up again just because of that Diviner reprint, which so many people needed. Seeing the ultimate rare reprint and then seeing Diviner as an ultra at least made some fans happy. Wing Kuribo counts as a elemental hero, as a favorite card, can be used as fusion material for DPE, but then with the new Flame Wingman fusion monster, it does become the second best option when you want to cheat out Sunriser instead, or you want to search the favorite contact trap card. That's why this card doesn't really, you know, take priority, so it kind of just gets forgotten. Unfortunately, it doesn't negate. I think, you know, heroes need a negate option. If this had a monster negate option for Nibiru, the whole game changes, and suddenly malicious Konami's thinking they should put it back to 2, but we didn't get that. It's just a simple monster pop. So I'm gonna put this in potential because I think hero is still a great option right now. Of course, you have the spell lock, which isn't being run right now. But I do think with the lack of beast duels because of tempi, because of the lack of hand traps that some Snake Eye players are actually running, you know, they're going towards the spell versions, which with a deck like Heroes with layered interactions, it might actually work out. Now, I don't know if this card is actually going to boost the hero archetype that much, but I do believe they will run it. So with branded cards getting reprinted, I've put Grand Guigno here. Didn't expect this to get reprinted, I'm not gonna lie. I wish we got Mirror as a Seeker rare, but that's fine. You know, branded does remain as a top tier meta deck. Again, another deck that these new emerging archetypes have to face off against. Can they deal with Gimmick Puppet? Can they side beast duels confidently? Next up is Kashtira, so this seems like a rogue deck to me. Again, probably the peak rogue deck. I wouldn't say it's top tier meta deck yet. We're seeing Skill Drain main decked in some Snake Eye lists. So maybe Kashtira follows that with the beast stakes. Maybe that's how they find success. Again, another deck these new archetypes need to deal with and have a plan for. If it's not Kashtira, at least Shifter. Ice Barrier can play through Shifter. Inferno cannot play through Shifter. Definitely Sky Striker can't play through Shifter. So, you know, Kashtira kind of cancels out most of these decks, unfortunately. That's kind of the weird thing with Rogue, is a lot of them just died to Shifter, which is unfortunate. And one more thing, I mean, did anyone expect Sprite to be reprinted in this set? After announcing have the element in the Mega Tins, giving us Kurikara and the Sprite cards, I have no idea what is left in the Mega Tins that we still need to see. But anyways, guys, let's appreciate the fact Sprite is back. Sprite being affordable is a big deal. Kind of reminds me of the 2-player star deck for players to, you know, get used to the game. It's a very simple deck to play. And that has been my tier list for the Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge. What I've done is include all the archetypes getting new support that are relevant, and we've matched them up against the meta decks right now. You can obviously see a very strong trend here. The only emerging archetype that's in top tier meta is Phantom of Yubel, which everyone agrees with me. Now, whether Fiendsmith means this deck does not become top tier meta until Infinite Forbidden, either way, Nightmare Throne is getting really expensive right now, and we're seeing a lot of these cards being reprinted for the Duel Terminal cards. So that's great news for players who want to pick up a new archetype. And all 4 of these archetypes have very unique play styles. With all these reprints as well, I think it's a good time to, you know, still have fun and maybe just enjoy the game at a more casual level if the top tier strategies are not as fun. And that's definitely what I recommend. I definitely plan to play Ice Barriers. Expect a Ice Barrier deck profile on release day. I'm going to be updating that as well since my video. That being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.